This is episode 38. In the previous episode, we had finished chapter 6, and today we will begin chapter 7. This chapter is known as Gyana Vigyana Yoga, or the Yoga of Knowledge and Discriminative Wisdom. Chapter 4 was Gyana Yoga, Gyana Vigyana Yoga, and that was much more about knowledge. Here we are talking about knowledge with discriminative wisdom, and effectively, God begins to describe himself from chapter 7 onwards. In the early chapters, God asks us to do karma and do it in the right way, or asks us to progress on the path of Gyana or Dhyana. He keeps using words like Main, Mai, Matpar, Param, and Brahma. From chapter 7 onwards, he starts to describe the meaning of these words. Chapter 7 has 30 verses, and today we will cover the first 15 verses. That is 7.01 to 7.15. Let's start with the literal translations and then we will come back to talk about some interesting things. Starting with verse 7.01. Shri Bhagwan Ovach, Mai asakt manah parth yogam yunjan mad ashrayah asanshayam samagram mam yatha gyasasi tatshrinu. God says, O Parth, listen about how you can know me completely free from any doubt by attaching your mind to me, by surrendering to me, and through the practice of yoga. How will you realize me beyond all doubts in totality and without anything else remaining? So that's what God is saying in verse 1. Then verse 2 is Gyanam te aham savigyanam idam vakshayami asheshitah yat gyatva na ih bhuyah anyat gyatavyam avashishyate. God says that I will now reveal this wisdom unto you along with discrimination in totality and without any omission. And upon knowing this, nothing else will remain unknown to you in this world. So this is in some ways the complete truth. That was verse 2. And then verse 3 is Manushyanam sahastreshu kaschit yatati siddhe yatatam api siddhanam kaschit mam veti tatvatah. Amongst thousands of persons, hardly one strives for perfection. And amongst those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me totally or perceives me in essence. Here, God is not saying that the percentage of success is going to be very small. Instead, he says that to be able to strive at that level, to know me in essence, is done by only a handful of people. It is not that you cannot attain him, but there are very few who go to the full lengths to attain him. Therefore, there is one Christ, one Guru Nanak, and one Lord Buddha. It is not an easy path, as it requires effort and continuous striving. That's what is being said. It is not that God has put a limitation on the percentage of people that can realize him. There's nothing of that sort. Then verse 4 is Bhumir apo analo vayu kham mano buddhirevacha ahankar itiyam me bhinna prakriti ashtadha. God says that earth, water, fire, air, space, mind, intellect, and ego are my 8 different natures. Earth, water, fire, air, and space are 5 physical manifestations, and together with mind, intellect, and ego are the 8-fold elements of my nature. Now, I don't know if these are 8-fold or not, but God says that non-living is a part of me, and manifestations of perception such as mind and reason are me as well. Good and bad, both are mine, as everything originates from me. So if the good originates from me, so does ego originate from me, as I have created the bad as well. So that is what is being said in these verses. God cannot say that the bad did not originate from him, as he has created both good and bad. And that's what he is saying. Then verse 5 is Apara iyam itah tu anyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhutam mahabhavu yayedam dharyate jagat. God says, beyond this nature of mine, understand a different nature, O Arjun, which is superior to this nature. And that nature is the life element of all living beings, which is me. I am the life in all living beings, which comprises the embodied souls in this world. I am the non-living, the feelings, the emotions, the esoteric, and I am also the living. Everything is me, and I am the good and the bad. That is verse 5, and then verse 6 is Etat yonini bhutani sarvani iti ubdharaya aham kritsnasya jagatah prabhavah pralayah tatha. God says that these different natures that I have are the womb or the origin of the entire cosmos. I am the progenitor and the dissolver of the entire cosmos, including both the living and non-living. I am the progenitor and the dissolver. That is verse 6. And then verse 7 is Mattah partaram na anyat kinchit asti dhananjaya Mai sarvam idam protam sutre manigana iv. God says, O Arjun, there is nothing beyond me or higher than me. Everything is attached to me, just like a row of gems on a thread. Everything is a part of me, and everything is a manifestation of me. That is verse 7, and then verse 8 is Raso aham apsu kaunteya prabha asmi shashi sureyo pranava sarva vedeshu shabda khe paurusham nrishu. God says, O son of Kunti, I am the pleasant taste of water. I am the radiance of the sun and the moon. I am the sacred syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. I am the entropy or sound in space. And I am the manliness of man. So he is using all of these words to describe himself. Verse 9 is Punyo Gandham Prithviyam Cha Tejah Cha Asmi Vibhavaso Jivanam Sarva Bhuteshu Tapah Cha Asmi Tapasvishu. God says, I am the fragrance of the earth. I am the brilliance in fire. I am the life in all beings. I am the austerity of the ascetics. And I am the effort of the people who strive. Then verse 10 is Bijam Mam Sarva Bhutanam Vidhi Parth Sanatanam Buddhir Buddhimatam Asmi Tejah Tejasvinam Aham. God says, O Arjun, know that I am the eternal seed of all beings or creatures. He then says, I am the understanding and the rational discrimination of the knowledgeable. I am the excellence of the excellent, the radiance of the radiant, and the splendor of the glorious. So that is what he is saying. Then verse 11 is Balam Balvatam Cha Aham Kam Rag Vivarjitam Dharma Avariddho Bhuteshu Kamo Asmi Bhartarshab. God says, O best of the Bharatas, I am the strength of the strong, but the strength which is devoid of desire and passion. And I am even the desire that does not conflict with the righteous battle. So God cannot lay claim only to the good. He is saying that he also lays claim to the not so good, which he further describes in the next verse. In verse 12 he says, Ye cha ev satvika bhava rajasa tamsascha ye mat ev iti tanu viddhi na tu aham teshu te mai. God says, know me as the manifestation of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. I am the manifestation of all the goodness, all the passion, and all the ignorance. Sattva is good, Rajas is passion, and Tamas is ignorance. I manifest myself in all of these, and know that they are in me, but I am not in them. I think it's important to understand that nothing in this universe can exist unless it is a manifestation of God, because He has created everything. He is saying that, and He is also saying that they are my manifestations, but I am not affected by them. God is on the dance floor as well as on the balcony, and that is what He says in verse 12. By the way, these three qualities, Sattva, which is good, Rajas, which is passion, and Tamas, which is ignorance, are repeated many times in the Gita as Triguna. Whenever Triguna is mentioned, remember it's referring to goodness, passion, and ignorance. Then verse 13 is Tribhi Gunmaye Bhave Ebhi Sarvam Idam Jagat Mohitam Na Abhijanati Mamebhya Param Avayam. God says that this world doesn't understand me as the unchangeable, the immutable, and beyond all of this, because everyone is deluded by the inherent qualities of these three natures of mine, and therefore they cannot see and understand me. This is verse 13. Now don't ask me why God created this Maya. He's just chosen to do that. And this is what it is. Then verse 14 is Davi hi esha gunamai mama maya durtayaya mamev ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. God says it is indeed difficult to go beyond the influence of my cosmic hypnosis or Maya. God is also saying that I understand it's a difficult path and there is so much distraction and illusion. He also says that those who want to approach me or those who reach unto me are able to cross this illusion. This is verse 14, and then verse 15 is Na mam dushkritino mudah prapadyante naradhama mayaya apahirt gyana asuram bhavam ashrita. God says people with bad deeds do not approach me or follow me, and whose intellect, rational discrimination or reason is deluded by Maya end up having the form and nature of the demons and the wrongdoers. So they end up doing evil in this world. So that is verse 15. This was a literal translation, and as you can see in these verses, God has started describing Himself. First of all, why is it important to know who God is? God has said you should do karma, but the problem is finding the objective of this karma in the righteous battle. Duryodhan was also doing karma, but he was not fighting the righteous battle. Instead, it was Arjun who was fighting the righteous battle. So how do you know which is the righteous battle? We have repeatedly said that karma should be done with intellect and rational discrimination. But how do you know what is rational discrimination? So in some ways, understanding what is right and what is wrong is important. And in some ways, God has begun describing that as he starts to describe himself. When he describes himself, he uses all the illustrations. He's saying, I am the living and the non-living. I am also the energy, and I am also the entropy of space. I am the radiance, the fragrance, the self-discipline, the excellence, and the brilliance. I am also the strength and the rational discrimination. I am both good and evil, as I am the good, the passion, and the ignorance. By the way, I am also the best of the best of the best, just like Om in the Vedas. I am the life in all beings and the source of life. I am the creator and the destroyer. So God starts describing here that everything is his manifestation, which is important, and both living and non-living are his creation. I am the creator and destroyer of all of these. And by the way, I am also excellence, strength, etc. And then he begins to describe that the best among these is also him. While everything is his manifestation, he says that the best of the best of the best is possibly the right way of thinking about me. Ignorance is my manifestation, but good is also my manifestation. And that is a more desirable objective for you. Begin to think about these. And I think it is important to reflect on who is God. God could be in physical form, in unmanifested form, could be eternal peace or bliss, could be excellence in work, could be attaining true knowledge, could be the best of the best, and could be the energy or the radiance. There are multiple definitions, and I believe whoever you choose as God, that becomes the objective of your righteous battle. That's the way to think about this. I will stop here. Thank you.